Welcome everybody. I'm going to show an awful lot of slides today. I'm an academic, I just can't help it, I'm sorry. So I'll skip through a few quickly, don't panic. I've just had a few up there just in case I needed them to fill in some other aspects of what we did. So the Australian E-Challenge. This has been a program in the making now for some 14 or 15 years now, and at the University of Adelaide. What it does, it involves, I've just explained briefly, teams of students, traditionally out of the university, who get together with an idea, and they go through a full program. This takes about a semester, and through that program they get introduced to a whole bunch of industry experts. They get allocated a mentor from industry to help them along the way. We look after the program to make sure that it's rigorous, it's evidence-based, that the learning that they get is really relevant to the modern way of thinking about business startups and entrepreneurship, to eventually get to the point where they're able to pitch their business to real investors. And that's the sort of program. It existed as a program in the university for a number of years. We transformed that into a course, so now students at university can actually do this as an elective in any program. We expanded that out to TAFE, to other university participants, so we've had people from all universities now participating in the program. 3 years ago, we decided that we're going to try this in high schools. And this was the really innovative sort of aspect of it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. A little bit about our centre, and this is important because this is the sort of collaboration that had to go into building this program. These sorts of things do not happen just by one person standing up here. I'm lucky enough to have had the opportunity to be the director of the program, but it's from a number of academics, a lot of research that comes out of our centre and a lot of research from around the world into how entrepreneurship actually works and the real impact that it can have. We have PhD students working on this sort of work as well, so it's very robust. I think I want to make sure that we all understand this is evidence-based programming at its best. What is it about this that's disruptive? We heard about disruptive innovation before. If you have a new market or a new technology, that's really disruptive. You can have an existing market and existing technology. Well, that's just sustaining innovation. What we're really about is those other two areas, okay? Because we're talking about startups. If you're going to be completely disruptive, brand new technology, brand new marketplace, they're the very, very, very few businesses that become new startups and established. Most of our new businesses that are still entrepreneurial, still innovative, still add real value, lie in looking at existing markets with new technologies or taking an existing technology and finding new marketplaces. So this is the sort of area that our program really concentrates on. Why? Because we get the most success out of this area for starters. Occasionally we'll get the really disruptive technology through, but the odds are that this is where the best bang for buck is going to come from. But we're in the education space. So one of the other aspects about the E-Challenge is that we had to think very carefully about how people learn. And one of the things that we have addressed with this program is the actual learning process of how do you learn to be an entrepreneur? And this question was raised a bit earlier on today, I think. Can you teach entrepreneurship? I was asked over dinner. Very, very long answer, but the simple answer is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I can teach you how to be one, okay? If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, I'm not going to bother trying. So that's the short answer. There's a far more complex answer to that, of course. But the whole idea is, how do we approach this from this sort of concept? And if we're talking about the different types of innovation, where do we stand? So in education, what we look at is this sort of framework. The standardised approach of education is really, directed learning. It's traditional, it's conforming, it's you sit down, you listen to what I've got to say, you regurgitate it at the exam at the end of the semester, and if you've got a good memory, you'll do really well. That's been the standard education model for an awful long time. It's institutional based, so we have kindergarten, we have primary school, we have high school, we have TAFE, we have universities, all institutionalised, all nice little boundaries around them, so we all know exactly where we all stand. What this program is really all about is about diversity. It's about encouraging learning and assessment from the student's perspective, all right? So it's student-led learning. It's challenging the traditions in education. It's now saying, well, let's actually question about how we learn. We consider ourselves in this program to be more facilitators rather than teachers. Okay, we help the students find their own, find their own way in learning the things that they're looking for. And it's across institutional. So we have participants in the one program that are from high school, from TAFE, from university, and even outside in industry, all participating together, learning from each other, seeing the different perspectives, and if you want creative thinking environments, that's a pretty good place to start because we've got such diverse areas. So in a nutshell, the other layer of innovation is in what we do as much as what we teach, I suppose. And I think it's really important that we lead by example and we show people that this is the way to think differently. It is possible, and you do get some really great outcomes out of it. So the e-challenge program I want to talk to you about today, though, specifically, is the one that we're running in the Riverland. So the program is funded through the Regional Development Innovation Fund, the SARMS project, and managed through PIRSA. So we thank both the federal government and PIRSA for managing this project. It was at $538,000 with in-kind matching from a variety of organisations and areas up in the Riverland. 4 high schools up in the Riverland, Renmark, Loxton, Glossop and Waikerie, all invited to take part at the school level of the Entrepreneurs E-Challenge. Same model, 2 to 6 students with an innovative idea that they can take through. So how do we get them to come up with an innovative idea? First session we have is the students have pre-selected themselves mostly into this program. It is part of the curriculum in the schools that are running it now. So students receive 10 SACE points for doing this program because it's robust and we can show them that it's accessible. Generally speaking, we ask the students to uncover a problem that is important to them. And as we saw earlier on, where are opportunities? There where we face problems, adversities, change in the environment, aspects of life which don't seem to make sense. There are the incongruities in what's going on. So we invite the students to really examine their environment, their world, to work out what these problems are. So they find a problem that's important to them. The learning from here on is easy because all we ask them to do is go off and solve the problem you have identified. We facilitate the learning along the way as to how they solve that problem. Some of them come up with solutions that are socially entrepreneurial, so they're not really profit motivated, but they're community motivated. But very, very many of them come up with very real, very commercially viable solutions to problems that they've identified. And that's the whole idea of it. So the whole concept is they go through this process, identifying the problem. From there, we get them to produce what we call a business concept, and we use something called the business model canvas to do that. Some of you would have come across and used that sort of model. It's been around for a few years now. We use design thinking in this process, so we're stepping away very quickly from the linear business model, sort of writing a business plan from the start, so it's a linear process. Design thinking really takes the holistic view of what they're doing, so they're designing a business to be suitable, which means that it's fit for purpose, it's able to change, it's able to evolve and change as feedback from the potential customers come along. So this is the sort of skills that they're learning right from the start. They get a mentor from the local business community. The great thing about the mentor program is that as the learnings take place in the program, the mentors pick up information from the experts that we bring in to deliver the program as well. If we were to invite the business community to come along to sessions to learn marketing or learn how to raise finance, our experience shows it's a pretty tough gig. Ask them to come along and help the kids in the high school learn this stuff. They're there with bells on and they're participating and helping, and the knowledge leaks back into the business community, which is really fabulous. This is the heart of the collaboration, of course. So there's a series of workshops, and then they present what they do. And I'm just going to flip through to the first stage that the kids have to present is at something called the Venture Showcase. It's like a show where they have a table, they present their business idea, and we have about 400 business, government, educators come through, invited guests, and they go through and look at all the university teams, the high school teams, the teams from the Riverland, to provide feedback and advice. And there's an enormous amount of feedback that's given from the public to the teams. This is about validating your idea, okay? This is about, if I show this idea to the public, will they like it? Can they give me more feedback? So they learn that skill of validating what they're doing. They go back, they almost all change their idea to some degree because of the feedback. And then finally, there's some examples of some of the students that we've had. They then have a pitching competition where they pitch in front of real venture capitalists, real business people who will judge their pitching with their business planning and awarded prizes. So last year with our Renmark High School, first prize went to Renmark out of all the high schools that took place, and that was $2,000 for the school. We had a number of other prizes. Day at Microsoft, this was worth about $10,000, okay? This is a team of students invited into Microsoft to talk to their chief innovator and spend the whole day understanding how Microsoft do their innovation programs. This is the sort of access that the kids have, which is great. Big gala awards dinner. Entrepreneurship is really, really important to celebrate. We have to put this up on the pedestal as to being, this is really important. And all the collaboration that goes into it in this particular program, the mentors, the schools, the Regional Development Authority in the Riverland, PIRSA, the University of Adelaide, a number of businesses that have supported us, and are all showcased at the awards dinner where they all get to meet and talk to each other, much as the same as what we're doing here today, which, once again, continues on the whole process of more collaboration again. Where to from here? We've done it in the Riverland. I'd like to ask the question, is the Southeast next? I'd love to be part of it if you can bring it together. Thanks very much for listening.